We brought in some twigs and wood and sticks in that last night because word of a storm was approaching. So while we wait for that to get going.
It's indeed snowing out.
I wanted to get back on the amplifier here. Our transistors are in. And as I mentioned earlier, there's some corrosion. Either something was spilled in this amplifier. That's my guess causing the short circuits. We're going to have to clean that up. So I'll give this little chip brush here a haircut. We'll go and we'll clean this up. There's also some corrosion in this area right there. Right there, like it's sizzled perhaps. Oh, and there's like little defects here. I didn't notice this would be like this, but we're going to have to check this thing out a little bit. And check the driver transistors on each of these boards. Anyway, back to the snow. Okay, so this is what we walk into here. Being from the Northeast, nobody really cares about watching other people's snow, but for the ones maybe not in the North, you can just gather what we're up against. Thank heavens our plow truck is back online, so we'll start him up, clean him off, and this may even be snow thrower snow also, but so glad to have the plow truck in operation. There's piles of snow. Well, we've certainly done some plowing here. That motor doesn't sound any different than it ever did. And it would usually, after this much running, be getting hot, but the gauge is dead in the middle there. So that's it. Did okay, and it's still snowing. Have to plow more, we will. Okay. Okay, back on the amplifier. I gave my little brush a little haircut here, so I'll be able to clean some of this off. But as I notice, I've repaired these amplifiers before, and I've only seen the outputs shorted on them. Everything else is okay, but there's all kinds of corrosion. There's some there, and over here on this transistor here. These terminals here are all green. So I'm going to go down, and I can't think if it's, this could be cola, sugar, who knows. And like I say, this looks like here it actually burnt while it was running and continued as an IC, an op amp I would imagine here. Yep, that has corrosion on it also, so something ran down. This side looks relatively clean. So let's touch up some of the connections with solder, and we'll clean the flux and whatnot. Okay, I'm just doing a spot check of the driver board, the component side, and again there was some corrosive material on diodes, and over time it'll eat through, as we've seen on one of the computers. The battery, the backup battery, had eaten through the cladding of the circuit board from just sitting on there over time. So I've cleaned the pins. Well, I might clean that a little more. I'll check the other one, and we'll reassemble. I did check the driver transistors here, and I did some spot checks of the pre-drivers, and everything appears okay here. And the other channel here looks okay. So we'll reassemble that. This one just had a little bit on the cladding side of the board. While I have it out, I will check his drivers while we have it open. The meter on diode check, I'm just going to check the junctions of these two transistors right there. Emitter to collector, high both ways. Base to collector, low one way. Base to emitter, low one way. No, go both ways. Well, it's in circuit. It's not shorted, so this one reads the same way. I'm gonna say these are good. Well, there's a first. I don't know where I got these aftermarket fuses. You push it in the slot and the darn glass broke. Fuse still has continuity. I'm going to leave it in there. Pushing the fuse in. It's a glass thinner. Like, this is ridiculous. All I did was simply put the fuse in its socket. To push them in from the corners. Okay, here we are on the other side of the amp. I have it propped up as not to cause damage to any of the long controls on the back. Review. The 2N6284 shorted. Or on this channel, the 2N6287. Did I say 6284 up here? Emitter to collector shorted. Emitter to collector shorted. Do I change both? Do I change all of them? Oh, I don't know. There are different schools of thoughts on that. I don't think I've ever had a problem just changing the one. I may change both. Keep the others as spares. I don't know yet. Okay, with one transistor removed, just want to make sure there is a mica insulator here. And yes, this time we're going to clean here. And I'll apply some new heatsink and a new transistor. This mica insulator is torn. I don't think it's a big deal, but I think I have a million of these, so I may go ahead and replace that. We did not do that. Okay, the jury's still out on this non-silicone heatsink compound, but I'll apply some on each surface, and I did find a Walt stock insulator, so let's get moving here. Okay, I've applied some there, and I'll apply some here. The die of the transistor is in between the two legs. I don't know if you've ever broken one of these open to see, but in any event. I was going to put the other channels one over here and put the date code's 01, almost 2002, and these are dated 2015. I could put the two new ones on one channel, but I'm just going to go replace what's bad. Okay, there we are with the new transistors. It's quite difficult getting them in there because there's just barely enough room to slide them up the heatsink. Like I say, this fuse, only because we're testing here, I normally wouldn't leave a cracked fuse in there. It still's good. The glass is broken. I wouldn't do that in the customer's machine, but for our testing purposes, I may change it out, but for now I'm going to leave it. And that's it. Just give it a once over. And bench testing this is probably a possibility. Just feeding it the whatever voltage it runs on, but we're kind of lacking in. I don't believe I have the diagram for this, so we're just gonna wing it here. Hope for the best. Next, we'll go inside. Okay, two things. You can see on the cover for the amplifier, there's evidence of spillage there. It ran down the amplifier, and this was an eBay seller, these fuses, and I went in to grab another 8 amp fuse, and it was broken also. Just they break. I wonder if I should email the seller and say, what's up with these fuses? We'll put a good fuse in there. I've removed all the remnants of the toxic goo, but as I was saying, that has to be either a soda or some kind of alcohol, because it ate, as you can see here, it kind of was starting on the bottom is eating the paint off. So that's why I wanted to clean up as much of those components there as I could. Okay, let's button this back up. Here's even taken off some of the paint here on our 1.08 kilohertz. I'll just put some black paint back there. doctor that up a little. Good. Well, it's perhaps safe to remove our test amplifier here. Actually, I kind of like these inputs. I may keep them with it. Speakers we're going to use at a low tap. I'll explain the taps for the output. Basically, okay, let me get this all. Okay, I'm going to attach the speakers to E1, that's common, and E2, and these are the individual taps. I think that there's more power as you go higher, so I'm going to go on the first or second, maybe the E3 on each of these. Okay, I've gone between E common, E1, and E3, which I could look at, but it's probably 25 watts or so. And although it's a 250 watt rated amplifier, you have individual taps and you divide it up to your liking, and there are overload indicators inside for your for testing and whatnot. But it looks like E7 is raised on this, so whoever was running this, they had it on the maximum terminal there. Let's go back to opening up inside to get the amplifier in. Okay, I've almost gone ahead and forgotten to install our little transistor shield covers here. I'll put those in, and now install the amplifier. There are your overload indicators, and I want to I would not like the thought of any of that toxic goo going into the central computer, but I don't see any drippage around the output transformers here, so we'll check that. And they give you one 5/8 screw to hang the amplifier on, so that's what we're gonna do. I want to make sure I get these covers in correct. Yes. Okay. Time for the putback. I did have to split the case of the amplifier to get those to slide in properly. Okay. Now for the putback. Okay, just double checking everything. I have my left and right inputs. Volume control, system mute, left channel, right channel, power. I haven't put the side screws in. I only have it hanging on the top hook screw there, but I have good luck with not putting things back until I'm sure they're ready. And if I put all the screws back in, chances are there'd be an issue. But anyway, powered up. We knew it didn't smoke before, so I'm not expecting any smoke. Make sure I'm okay. I'm still connected over here. Oh, something doesn't quite feel right, but yeah, okay. Okay. And you shouldn't also use new speakers, but these I don't really care about. There's always risk of damaging speakers. And one last note on this amplifier is that if you do use ECG replacements, they won't, in my opinion, they won't last. They'll blow up again. I did that. I learned that early on. You want to put in there what that was designed for. Otherwise, the ECGs are good general, NTE nowadays, whatever you want to call it. Good general purpose, but they tended to blow up if I use them in this application. Okay, I think we're turned on. Powered up, I mean. Power. The amplifier usually makes a pop when you do something like that, so I don't know what I have here for discs. I think this plays MP3s. I noticed the other day, this particular player. Okay. Let's put a song in and see what happens. Oh, I don't know what I have discs in here myself. We're gonna go with, oh, I don't know, 78, 80, 84. Let's do the Kinks. I think it was Ray Davies' birthday the other day. I put Kinks in. That's disc 86. Let's try 86. I don't know where the volume is set. Okay.
Dandy, Dandy, where you gonna go now? Who you gonna run to? Are you a little light? You're chasing all the girls. They can't resist your smile. Oh,
That's a success.
Dandy, Dandy, no sympathy.
Okay, I got disc 32 there. Happens to be a farm radio disc. We used to do a little bit of that I don't know what you call the guy with the patch over his eye and the whatnot, ARG and all that. We used to do a little low power FM station. I don't know what's on there. 34. I think that's just one track. I want to check the equalizer on this to see. Oh, of course, that's not the disc. Let's try 32. Okay, there we go. That's weird how it spins backwards on this. FM is now in the air. That record had more scratches than grooves in it, but we played it anyway. I want some 10 kilohertz. 46 hertz, that's pretty low. These speakers probably don't even. Let's try some high frequencies. I don't hear any differences on these. Play with that. Let's lower the. There's some better speakers here. But I think we're good. I'll play with this a little more and do one more bit with it closed up. Okay, the equalizer is working. I just need better speakers. They have subtle differences, but they are working. But these speakers, they probably don't even do 100 hertz. And the high frequency, they're about 8 hertz to 300. It's like they're just flat. But I'm gonna button this up and close it up. I'm gonna call this quits on this. Okay, that's gonna do it on the W100 Storm, the amplifier portion, and we'll get some better speakers. And yeah, I don't know what I have in here for a second disc. I don't have one. Okay, that's gonna do it on the amplifier section of the Rowe W100 Storm. Get some better speakers and call this a wrap. Thanks for watching.